Welcome back. Government-appointed directors will soon sit on the board of the National Fair Trade Organization as it seeks to restructure the banana industry. While the outgoing chairman of the NFTO says that the relinquishing of the chairmanship was done under duress, Agriculture Minister Ezekiel Joseph says government-appointed directors was the better alternative to taking full control of the industry.
After months of pleading for financial assistance from government last April, the National Fair Trade Organization agreed to give in to government's request to allow the body to be led by a government-appointed chair. Agriculture Minister Ezekiel Joseph says contrary to the outgoing chairman's utterances, the organization was not forced to relinquish the chairmanship. He says it was in the best interest of the NFTO to do so.
The consultants, which we were part of the team, made a number of recommendations. In fact, all 3 recommendations that the consultant made was for the government to take full control of the industry. As a ministry, as a government, we said we don't want full control, but we want to have a little more say, because we are going to inject resources into the NFTO, and we think that based on the plans we had, we need to have a little more say. So, it was not a strong hand. If you had to go ahead with the recommendation of the consultant, where all 3 options spoke to total government control, that to memory would be strong.
While the outgoing chair says that a government-appointed chairman would contradict globally accepted values as part of the fair trade movement, the agriculture minister says that the NFTO's alignment with the global fair trade brand will not be in jeopardy.
It has no effect on the fair trade status, because based on legal advice, and now we are doing the changes to the act of the NFTO in St. Lucia, that has no impact on the fair trade status. So the information that was being bounced around as far as losing fair trade status is false.
Government will appoint 3 directors to the board of the NFTO, while farmers will select 4.
One is Ronald James, right, Mr. Kurt Sevre, and then the Ministry of Commerce will give us a third individual. In fact, we have written to the NFTO asking them to at least recommend, it's about a month now, recommend to us who the 4 directors are. Because I can tell you, I can report here today, is that the resources that is required to assist in restructuring the NFTO has been approved, $4.something million, and now we are in the process of paying the outstanding to the farmers of over 14 weeks.
No timeline was given as to the disbursement of the assistance promised to farmers through the NFTO. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Should minuscule margins of greater votes be accepted as a victory by any one candidate in a general election? Former Electoral Commissioner Claudius Francis says this in and of itself is not the issue, but rather he believes candidates should be declared winners if they have gained not just the majority of votes, but 50% plus 1.
With a general election around the corner, the issue of candidates winning their seat by small margins is being debated. Some question whether or not it is fair for candidates who win by, for example, 2 or 7 votes, to be considered the winner, and should the votes be recounted. Former Electoral Commissioner Claudius Francis was in the hot seat on Wednesday and shed light on the issue. He said that a defining moment in St. Lucia's elections history was in 2011 in ancillary canneries, when Regis Dauvain won by 1 vote, and that it was never recounted. Francis said that instead what he would like to see changed is that winners gain more than 50% of the votes.
In 1982 in Soufrière, 87 in Castries Northeast as it then was, and 2 elections ago in Micoud North, the winning candidates, especially in the Soufrière case in 1982, won with votes in the 30% area, because you had 3 pretty equally popular candidates in 1982, deceased Winston Snack, Sam Auger, and Leonard Riviere. And Leonard Riviere prevailed in 82, somewhere around 37–38%. I would like to see a runoff thereafter between the 2 top candidates, where a majority must be obtained by one of them to go on to win.
Francis also made reference to Labour Minister Stevenson King and Education Minister Dr. Gail Rigobert and their margins of victory.
Same thing happened to Stevenson King in 1987, where the combined votes of Mikey Pilgrim and Oswald Augustine, if not exceeded, were pretty close to Stephenson King's, resulting in Stephenson King winning the seat with less than 50% of the vote. And the same happened to our current education minister when Janine and Asina went up. The two votes, the combined vote of these two exceeded. So they were minority winners, so to speak. I would like to see the law change to allow for a runoff where somebody must get 50% of the vote.
Francis noted that the number of votes won by simply should not matter. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
St. Lucia is seeking to re-establish a football task force to help develop the sport. Youth and Sports Minister Edmund Estefan made the announcement in Parliament on Tuesday. The decision was made following discussions with the St. Lucia Football Association concerning St. Lucia's non-participation in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. While government understands that FIFA's statutes of operations restrict third-party influence and does not want to contravene, the minister noted government's role in creating an enabling environment for the sport.
It was agreed that the relationship between the government of St. Lucia, through the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports, and the SLFA Inc. will be strengthened through the re-establishment of the Football Task Force, which was organized a couple years ago, comprising the government, the Ministry of Sports, the SLFA Inc., business partners, private sector and independent individuals. The task force will be charged with the responsibility of suggesting ways in which the relationship between the SLFA Inc., the footballers and the general public can be strengthened for the ultimate goal of restoring confidence and making football a more exciting and beautiful game.
The task force will focus on implementing more football matches using a two-tier system.
It is anticipated that with this new shift, football in St. Lucia can move towards a semi-professional league system in accordance with international norms. The government of St. Lucia fully embraces this global idea and has pledged to continue its infrastructure development program on some of our playing fields around the island. This would create the conducive environment to host local, regional, and international games on world-class facilities.
That was Youth and Sports Minister Edmund Estefan. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We'll be right back.